Hey, you guys. Hey, YouTube. It's been a while since I have been on YouTube or put out any kind of video, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys just a little bit of a life update of what's going on in my life recently. So, um, back in the summer, I had developed a cough and I could not get rid of it. And it lasted, you guys, for like 2 or maybe 3 months at the most. Well, it started to get better. I would say probably like around September-ish, it started to get better. And I thought that it was like going away. Well, I went to my stepdaughter's horse competition and I was outside all day. And then the next morning I had woken up and I could not breathe. And I was just coughing up, just a lot of mucus and stuff. So my husband took me to the hospital. And so they had given me an inhaler and just a cough medicine and just a few things to help with that. And they told me to go ahead and follow up with my doctor. So we got home, and that beginning of that next week, I called she's a homeopathic nurse practitioner, but called her and she goes, well, let's just send you in for a chest x-ray and check and make sure everything is okay. And so I was like, okay, let's just do it. So my husband and I went to this place in Indianapolis, and we had a chest x-ray done on me. And while I was there, I was like looking across the room and I saw the sign and it says walk-in mammograms. And Holy Spirit said to me, Melissa, you need to get a mammogram. So I told Jason, I said, I feel like I should get a mammogram. I'm like, it's been a few years. Like, I really haven't been using doctors since like 2020 and all that chaos happened, which you guys know what I mean. So I went back up and I asked the registrar, I said, can you go ahead and add a mammogram onto that? Well, she's like, sure. So she went ahead and added that on, and you guys, they found something in my right breast. And so I had gotten the results back. I don't know if it was like that week or like maybe three days later, I think. And so they called me back and they said, we saw something on there. We need you to come back and we need to recheck it. So I was like, okay, they needed more views. So I went back and, of course they did more views, and after the first mammogram, I had pain, like in my right breast. And I started kind of like one night I was taking a shower and I thought, I wonder why it hurts so much there. Well, I felt this little tiny lump in there. So when I went back for the call back, I was like, I feel something in there. And so the tech felt it. She goes, I feel it too. And so we got more views of that. Well, then she put me in like this waiting area and she goes, well, let's wait for the views to come back. She goes, but I need you to sit because we're probably going to do an ultrasound like today of that area. So I was like, okay. So I waited. Finally, I got the ultrasound done. And then the radiologist came in to speak to me. And she's like, Melissa, she goes, we are going to need to do a needle biopsy. She goes, there's something there. She goes, I really didn't see any type of shadowing. She goes, it's really small. She goes, it's like 1.2 centimeters. But she goes, the only thing that concerns me is that it's not growing this way. It's growing upwards. And she goes, it's concerning me because cyst and anything like that grows sideways, but cancer tends to grow up, which I didn't know that. So I was like, okay. So they scheduled me a needle biopsy for that following week. And so I went and had the needle biopsy done. And that next week, my nurse practitioner called me, and of course, I was at the Meijer store. I was waiting in line. I was at the self-checkout. I hadn't started checking out yet, but I answered the call just right as I had gotten up there, and she goes, "Melissa, do you have a second? Are you sitting down somewhere?" And right away, I kind of knew that I had it because the week prior, you guys, the way my dreams and visions work, I had actually um, met this gentleman. Um, I had been really sick like most of this year, and I met this gentleman named Glenn Barber, and he's basically has invented these really good enzymes, and he had put me on them. And I want to say I had almost lost like all my hair, um, which is another reason why I just haven't been on, because I've been dealing with all this stuff. But he had got me on this regimen like in the summer when I met him. He became really good friends with my husband. My husband actually met him through like this business thing. And so we got hooked up with him, and he also treats cancer patients. I have been going to him for hyperbaric treatments, the oxygen treatments. I've been having hydrogen therapy with him. I've been having red light therapy. I've been doing like the Rife. They have a big, huge, like the Rife machine that I sit in front of. But also he's invented these enzymes because I guess his son was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was young, and the medical community could not help him. So Glenn started this greenhouse and just started growing like all these fresh greens and vegetables and stuff like that. And so all these, they've actually created an enzyme that is like actually healing people, you guys. And so he started me on these in the summer. And so back to my dream. So a week before my diagnosis, I had a dream that I was at a childhood house that I used to live in, and we had 10 acres of land at this house, and I loved this house. Absolutely loved going outside and playing. And as you guys know, my father was really abusive, so I spent a lot of time outside. For you guys that have been following my story on here on Facebook. And so in the dream, I went outside to play, and I came across the snake, and it was like 15 feet long, but it did not move. It did not strike me. It did not try to bite me in any way. And I looked at it and I thought, I need to go back in the house and visit Glenn, because Glenn was inside the house sitting in the chair. And so I went inside, and I would visit with Glenn for a little bit, and then I would go back outside and play and come back in and visit Glenn for a little bit, and then, ran back outside and play. And that scene went back and forth like 3 or 4 times. And then towards the end, it was like Glenn and I were at the door, and I was saying goodbye to him, and I was crying, and I was hugging him, and I was thanking him for basically treating me and helping me. So I knew about a week before that I had breast cancer, but God kind of was warning me just in the only way that he can, where he had always prepares my heart. And so so I wanted to let you guys know I've chosen more of a homeopathic treatment for the breast cancer. It's only a 1.2 centimeter, and I'm stage 1A, grade 2. So I don't have like the slowest growing cancer, but not the fastest. But I am going to tell you this. I visited with my surgeon, and she is going to be doing like the lumpectomy. And she said, Melissa, she goes, yes, you have a small, very small lump in your breast. But she goes, you know what? She goes, I'm probably not going to do surgery on you until January, because she goes, it's laying still in there. She goes, it's not growing. It's very still. But that's what I got in my dream. I think the snake represented the cancer, and it was laying still. You know what I'm saying? But I knew from the dream that God wanted me to have my treatments done with Glenn, and I'm believing you guys in complete healing. Like, I'm not claiming the cancer. I just say that's the diagnosis. It's not my diagnosis. That was the diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not trying to claim this thing. Um, but at first, they said I had HER2 positive, which if you have HER2 positive, you automatically have to have chemotherapy and radiation. But they had these, she said it wasn't conclusive. So she goes, Melissa, we're sending the sample. We're going to have them take another sample. Well, they had taken 3 samples at my biopsy. So they were going to test one of the other samples. So when I went to see her for the consultation, she goes, Melissa, this is very good news. But she goes, you came back HER2 negative. So that means that that's the type that doesn't have to have like the chemo. And so she's thinking just a lumpectomy with a little bit of radiation. But I want to encourage you guys today, because no matter what we go through in this life, it's like God has a purpose for everything. Even the bad things, he turns it around and uses it for our good. And God has been doing such an amazing work in my life, like getting rid of like religion, religious ways of thinking that I got stuck in. Because you guys, I grew up in the Nazarene faith. There was so much, I grew up in so much religion, like, and it was just very, toxic. But God has just been using this situation to turn things around in my life. And although, yes, it's there, God is just doing some amazing, just amazing things in my life. So I want to encourage you today, like if you've been given a bad diagnosis, if you are going through a loss of a loved one, whatever it might be, financial issues, just know that God is there and he is like listening, and he knows everything you're going to go through before it even happens. God has just, I haven't been able to work very much. God has provided, you guys. I kid you not. I have not been able to work because I've been busy almost every day going to and from Glenn's to get these homeopathic treatments. The last couple of weeks I've had a ton of doctor's appointments. I probably have 5 or 6 different doctors that right now that I'm consulting with. And God sent us the biggest check in the mail. I mean, you guys, I don't even know how it was possible, but my husband and I got an $11,000 check. We were able to get ahead on bills. We were able to pay some things off. And the whole time, God has just been saying, Melissa, rest in me. Don't worry about you not working. I am going to take care of you. He's verbally been, just telling me that I don't have to worry. And he has been showing me, Melissa, you don't have to worry. There was one week where some lady blessed me. She Zelled me like $150 into my checking. And I brought groceries, that week, or, for the next couple of weeks for Jason and I. So it's like God has just been moving in ways that are so powerful, and he is there. And we do not, you guys, we don't have to be anxious or worried about anything, because his word promises us that if we seek his kingdom first and we seek him, all these things will be added unto us. And so I am just praising Jesus. I love him so much. But I just wanted to release a video because I know it's been a while. You guys, I've been dealing with stuff. I had severe inflammation in my body, you guys. It's estrogen. We know that my cancer is estrogen driven. So you guys, I've literally, my homeopathics like, get rid of all plastics. I quit going to Starbucks. The paper cups you guys drink out of, you guys, it's lined with polyethylene plastic. Once hot liquid touches that, it releases like 25,000 chemicals into your body. And I also quit drinking through plastic straws. And I'm going to be a disclaimer. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just telling you the things that I have studied and I've learned for myself. Um, I quit drinking through in plastic water bottles. Anything that carries an estrogen type of composite or whatever to it, I'm completely done. I even bought like a copper water bottle to drink out of. So I quit eating sugar, sweets. I'm off of all refined sugars. Down to 1 cup of coffee a day. You guys, I was addicted to coffee, down to 1 coffee a day. And I've also gone gluten free. So I've made changes. The inflammation, as you can see, has gone down at my face. You guys, I swear I've been inflamed for like years. I even had, some men come on Facebook and make fun of me and tell me how fat I am or that I look like a pig. Like, that was some of the comments I would get left on my YouTube channel, and I'm just saying this is in the past, but I think I've dropped about 7 pounds. We never know, like, if you have inflammation in your body, look at your diet, because inflammation over time will give you cancer. And like I said, this is just a disclaimer. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. But we have to pay attention. So, but I love you guys. I'm writing a book right now. I'm getting it finished up. I'm going to just write this last chapter of what I'm going through right now. I'm hoping to get it published within, this next year. And so I would love to, after I get it published, I would love to come to your church and speak and to kind of talk about my journey, what God has gotten me throughout my whole life. I've really just had just a life that most people it literally is a book, like all this stuff that I have been through, all the adversity that I've gone through. But it's like, what does the Bible say? When we've done all we can do, stand. We still have to stand, even when we get weary and we get tired and we wonder why this stuff keeps on happening. But you know what? I'm an overcomer and you are an overcomer. And so no matter what, we're going to get through it. Just keep looking to Jesus. Okay. God bless you guys.